Hello everybody, Steve here, and today I have vices on my mind right now. So I kind of wanted to give a little bit of talk about vices and kind of little different options that we have. So with Locksport, I mean, there's a lot of different vices that you see people using and stuff. And so to start out with, when I first started, I basically just used a vise that I had available, this particular one, where it's it's kind of like, I would call it a hobby vise type thing, and you can get these fairly cheap at different places and stuff, not too bad, and it's a good way to start. This one has steel jaws in it, so I was putting in something in there to make it so I wouldn't scratch my locks, but obviously when you're looking for something like this, make sure they have rubber things on there or something like that to make it a little bit better. So I've seen different sizes and stuff, but a kind of just a small size. And then this one happens to have a table type screw or clamp to clamp it to the side of the table, and yeah, that was fine for a little while, but definitely ones with a suction cup base seem to work pretty well for people. So that was kind of like one option. Another option that I saw fairly early and got was this Panav Vise here, and I can't remember what model Panav Vise this is, but anyway, so it has a good base with the metal tray base and low profile, and this of course has rubber on there to make it so that you don't, which helps so that you don't scratch your locks up, and of course it's all adjustable. But not too long after I've seen this, or a couple years ago, I'd see quite a few people modifying these Panav Vises, and they were using looked like a little clamp, kind of like this one that I have on this vise. I'll show here in a little bit, and I'm like, what the heck is that? I couldn't figure it out for a long time, and I finally figured it out. And what it is basically you buy something like this, which hold your phone, and then this clamps to the table or a pole or wherever you had, so that it can hold your phone, right? So a lot of people would take these off of these, take this off, and then they were doing some type of attachment so that they could took this attachment off and modified it, put this on there, which worked out pretty well for some people. In my case, what I did was I had another Panav Vise base here, and I've attached this to a piece of wood because I didn't have another base to put on there, but I had this part of it, and then I just modified this part with a screw so that I could screw on this thing here, which is actually not too bad. Just screw that on and use it. It's actually not too bad. Works out pretty well. I can move it around however I want. But not too long after I did this, I realized something else. Something else that dawned on me was this bottom part here. You can take off the phone holder part. This bottom part does the same thing. So what I would do is I just left this attached, and then I got another board, and what I did is I put in these they're called barb or a hook, what do I call they're a T-nut. A barbed T-nut is basically what it is. So I get the right size, and I drill a hole through the middle of this piece of wood, and then I just attached this to it. So I have another one of these here, so you can see how that works, and it actually works out pretty well. Have a nice piece of wood here, and this piece of wood is actually a cutting board from the dollar store, which works out, you know, if you can come across them at the dollar store or wherever, that works out pretty good because they're not too thick and pretty good size. So I just drilled a hole right through the center of it and attached this right to that board and used this barbed T-hook or T-nut in there, right there. Pressed it into place. Which is exactly what I did with this, you know, when I made this, put this base on there. Another thing I did was, since I had a piece of aluminum, nice block of aluminum that I was trying to use for some other project, I took and drilled a hole right through the center of that and tapped it. And then all I did is I screwed in my little small rig clamp right in there. That way I can loosen it up and put my lock in there and use it that way, which is very nice, very handy, and it's nice and heavy too. It's a lot more heavier than the piece of wood. And then I went and did something really crazy, and that is I took a pinning tray and I drilled and install one of those T-nuts, barbed T-nuts in in the center of this pinning tray and attach that. So that was a lot of fun to play around with. Works out really well actually. And out of these little camera clamps here, I've shown several of them. So I had this one, and then you saw this one. This one actually has you know, the jaws here, and then I have an adapter so I can put it in there and clamp down on smaller diameter stuff. And that's not bad either. Not a bad little thing. And then I got the small rig clamp. Those are pretty nice as well. But out of all of them that I've tried, this one's probably my favorite. And that one is the cam bait. And the main reason I like this one is because it has different places to attach the bottom here, which works out really well. And because of this idea, I actually sent a message to Lockchuck and I said, hey, this is what I did. What do you think about that? And he thought that was pretty neat. Said, oh, let me see what I can come up with. And then in the meantime, I know I want to do this video talking about these vices. So I asked him if he could send me a chuck vise, because I could do a video without showing off one of these little mini chuck vices that he 3D prints. So these are really cool 3D printed base with this nice big hand lock nut there with that ball and socket joint, and then he puts in a screw. He actually sent me two sizes so I could have it shorter or longer, and then put a screw in there, and then I could attach one of these clamps right to it, and which works out perfectly. And then when he sent me this, he also sent me this vise as well. So this base also attaches the clamp to it, and this incorporates the idea of having a vise with a base that's kind of a utility one, where it does have a little pinning tray incorporated in the base, and then it also has these spots to put your cylinders in. If you're working on a cylinder or something like that, you can slide that in there, and it has different sizes for the different size cylinders. So this is an excellent design, and I thank Lockchuck for putting that together and sending it to me. very awesome. I do enjoy these, and you know, I asked him about that, and he said he would send me one. And when I got it in the mail, I got this one and this one too. So it was awesome of him. Thank you very much, Lockchuck, for that. But anyway, I just wanted to go over some of the different options that are out there for doing the your vices and stuff like that. And I know people ask what kind of vice we're using with a small clamp, and that's the answer. Is basically it's one of these clamps that you get with your camera holder or whatever, phone holder. They call it a camera clamp basically. And then you can do something as simple, if you're a DIY type person, you can do something as simple as drilling a hole through a piece of wood, putting a T-nut in there, and installing it on there, which does work out really well. And if you do have access to a 3D printer, then these files for these vices are downloadable, so you can download those files and print those little vices out yourself. And they do work out pretty well. They're pretty stable and stuff, and definitely awesome. And I'm definitely happy to get this little utility one from Lockchuck. And anyway, different options with the Panav Vise, with the hobby vise, you know, different options there. So anyway, that's all I have for you guys today. Thank you very much for watching. Make sure that you leave a like and you're subscribed, and definitely leave comments down below and tell me what you think. And thank you everybody for watching, and have a wonderful day.